Well, happy Monday, world. It is February the 2nd, and it is 10:47 on day 2 of my filming journey of getting here on YouTube and getting in front of you guys, sharing with the world little things that I enjoy. So right now I'm about to be doing just what I like to call a quick clean girl look. Since I am on this skin journey, most days when I do my makeup, try not to go too heavy unless there's an event or something I'm going to. But I'm going to be starting off with the Dior Dream Skin Karen Perfect. I've already done a little blowout to my hair. I might add some waves to it in a little bit, but for now, we're gonna do skin. And I prepped my skin this morning with the things I mentioned yesterday. And what I really do love about this foundation, the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I've literally had this since I think last March, and I still have what looks to be like half a bottle left, which is amazing, and that's what we want, things that last, because you truly only need a little bit. What I like to do before I put this foundation on, I'm using the Bobbi Brown corrector. I'm a picker, and 2026 I am going to work on that, not picking, but because you leave scarring. So I get these little scars that do diminish over a few weeks, but before I do my makeup, I like to go in and just spot with this little corrector just some of those dark spots, and then I just lightly pat in, and that way it kind of just blurs that darkness. And then I also do underneath my eyes. Also, hydration is super important under your eyes. Using an eye cream in the morning before makes such a difference when it comes to product seeping into those lines and just looking dry. And right now we're in the winter months here in Texas. February is our coldest month. Make sure you are giving your skin extra love because we need it. And please drop in the comments your favorite eye creams. I've been using the Kiehl's Avocado. And I have terrible lighting in here, but you can kind of see that automatically just hides some of that darkness. Okay. And the brush I really love to use is dirty right now, so I'm using this IT brush that's just like a fluffy foundation brush. And I like to start on my chin and kind of work my way towards the center and out. And maybe one day I'll get one of those little magnetic things to stick to the mirror so y'all can kind of see that. But it really does, this foundation does the most beautiful natural blur without feeling heavy. And application truly does make a difference. I am doing light motions. I have these prominent dark veins around my nose, so I try to pack in a little product around there. And then I go a little on the forehead. and a little over my eyelids, just to kind of give a nice, even blur. And wherever you feel like there could use a little bit more coverage, you can go back. And then I will blend. Just so we don't have any lines. And then you can always go back with just a little bit more, just to kind of hide. I think that looks nice. All right, now for concealer, I'm gonna be using the Sisley This is number 3 eye concealer. And I'm just going to be using a little in the corner. And then I like to do a little bit going out. Now when I am doing my makeup, I like to listen to educational things some days. Some days I like to listen to music. Just depends on what I'm feeling. And today I'm going to be spraying a little bit of this Scandinavia spray on my Hourglass brush. And I'm just going to gently pat this in. And I'm going to go up and down, because right in here is where I want my brightness. And just very, very gently. And then the same thing, you want to just bring it up very, very slightly. Now today, because I am going to be out for a little while, I'm going to just apply a very, 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 very little amount of some setting powder underneath my eyes. And this is the Huda Beauty. And I pat that in just a little with my fingers. And that just gives a soft blur. When I'm doing this clean girl look, I don't want it to look like I have any powder on. But I just put just the slightest amount. And this is a very finely milled product, so a little goes a long way. Okay, now I'm going to be going in with cream bronzer. And I like to add a little to my brush, a little to the back of my palm, because I don't want too much pigment. And I'm just going to put it right there on my cheekbone. And I'm just going to buff. Just very, very, very softly. And I'm being real quiet. This is only day 2 of videoing, but I am staying committed. Y'all hear me be chatty Cathy as we progress along. But you can also go back in with your foundation brush and just kind of clean up what you want. And I'll also add a little bit on my forehead. just a little bit, just to kind of give a little bit of a glow up there. And I love how makeup we can kind of, you know, add things here and there or be pretty regular on our routine of things. This is one thing I've been pretty regularly doing, is adding a little bit of cream blush. This is the Rare Beauty, and I would normally never pick this light shade, but just with a good old e.l.f. brush, I just gently pack that in there. Just slightly press ever so gently, and this just gives the softest little glow. Just ever so soft, where it's just effortless. And you can just go up with it. She's so pretty. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit more to even out the pigment that we did on the other side. It's just so soft. I love, love, love. I love that. Okay, and then since we're on this whole creamy, dewy vibe, I'm gonna add this RMS little highlighter quad just around this area, just to give it a little bit of pop. And honestly, you guys, there's the whole theory sometimes less is more. I mean, certain products you don't need a lot. Just like a little bit does the trick. Okay, so for brows, we are gonna go in with just a little bit of brow gel today. Nothing crazy. I really am trying to get out the door, so on days like these, good old brow gel comes in handy. It's just a natural brow, just to give it a little bit of darkness, but also groomed, because this stuff is a gel, so it does hold them into place for sure. Like it's already getting sticky. Okay, and that's my brows, and then sometimes I'll kind of fluff that a little. And then for shadow, I will go in with a little bit of brown. This is gonna be just busted everywhere, but this is the Bobbi Brown pressed powder in golden brown, and I'm just going to softly add this all over. Just a little bit. And then if you want to do a little on the bottom. Yeah, okay, that's all I do. Then I go in and curl these lashes. Boom. Another thing that I've been pretty regularly doing is adding, I guess I've been on a Bobbi Brown kick, but it's this liner, Longwear cream liner. I will rub it so unperfectly on the top lid. And then I'll just bring this little corner out to be just like a very, very soft wing. Because then I'm going to go back in with shadow, with a shadow brush. Let's see where I put that one at. We can use this one. I'll just buff that out. And then you can kind of taper that down. But doing this, I feel like gives it such a effortless smoke without looking too structured. And that's the whole deal, is I don't want it to look structured. But when you use a little bit of liner with the brush, you can get a little bit more of a wing, but just kind of smoke it out. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I love that. Okay. And the whole point is that it's not supposed to be this perfect wing. It's a smoked wing. Okay, then I'll go in with this Lunar and Astro mascara. And when I'm feeling Frenchy and I have a little bit more going on here, then I will add some just pre-stuck wispies on here, the pre-glued ones. Those are my favorite, because you don't have to use no glue, no nothing. And honestly, when you use mascara and they're already pre-glued, then they all just stick together anyway, so you don't have to worry about glue, and they're there. All right, there's that. And then the lips, my favorite part. I always do lips last because you never know what's going on with the eyes. That's how you tell what color you're going in with the lips. And I really love this Dior liner. This is Nude 300. She's old and I love her, so I can't throw her away, but every time I sharpen her, she's a little wonky, so I gotta bring her down. And when I line my lips, I'm not a huge overliner, but it is important to emphasize your Cupid's bow because that is the prominent focal point of your lips. So it is important to make sure that that part is defined. So I will make that emphasis. And then you see, I just keep everything in the line. All right, and then after that, we're gonna do, I'm feeling glossy, so let's do a little bit of this Chanel 402 Adrian. And then I love, 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 love lipstick. But I think one thing that always makes it chef's kiss is when you slightly pat it in with your fingers. Pat it in, marry the liner with your lipstick, and that just gives it the most soft, seamless transition. And then gloss. I really just focus on the front. All right, you guys, this is pretty much my whole finished look. We spray a little Scandinavia setting spray, and this is my clean girl makeup look. Now I'm gonna see if you guys can see all the way. It is very, very clean. It's very basic, and I hope you guys like this. Maybe you learned something new, or maybe you can add in some products that you like that I can try and use myself. So I hope you have a great day, and thank y'all so much for watching.